Hello, my name is Frederick Dodson, and for the last 30 plus years, I've been teaching a concept called prepare for success. I believe that as you prepare for success, you make the event of success much more likely. As you prepare for your complete healing, you make the event of complete healing more likely. As you prepare for all these customers coming to your business, you make the event more likely. Preparing for success is a reality creation, a reality manifestation technique. That is why for many years I wrote books that nobody read. And I kept writing, and some people said, "Why do you keep writing? Obviously nobody's interested in your books." And I said, well, I'm preparing for success. Someday people will be interested, and by the time they are interested, I'm going to have all the books lined up and ready for people to read. And today, sure enough, my books sell massively well, really, really well. I remember back in the day, a whole month could go by and I wouldn't sell a single book. And I'm not going to tell you how much it is today, but it's significant. It's a lot. I wouldn't have to work another day of my life. So now I can work because I like to work, because I enjoy working, not because I need the money. That's, to me, a form of prostitution, right? So I kept working, even though I wasn't making money. I kept preparing for success. Success eventually manifested. It always does. What you prepare for manifests. Back in March 2022, in the middle of a so-called raging pandemic, I conducted a seminar with 50 people in a closed room, nobody wearing masks, didn't ask anybody for their vaccine status. I conducted the seminar in the assumption that everyone is healthy. And the people came in the assumption of health. And that's why before the event, during the event, and after the event, there wasn't as much as a cough. The people stayed healthy. And some people said, well, that's very risky in the middle of a raging pandemic. And some of these people had come from far away in places that were locked down, where people had to wear masks everywhere they went, social distance. But in the seminar, all that was suddenly gone as we hugged and we unmasked and we had a great time together and we were healthy. That too is a demonstration of the power of belief. As you believe, so it is. What you prepare for comes true. You see, so you got to demonstrate what you believe. And I often point things out, and offend people. I point things out in these regards and I say, okay, so this teacher has been teaching for the last 20 years that all health is made in the mind. Okay, that's what he's been teaching. Then why is he going on his YouTube channel and Instagram channel warning people to wear masks and to vax up and all that? It totally contradicts his teaching, right? I don't get it. He suddenly doesn't believe what he taught for 20 years anymore. And I say that and people get offended, and I'm like, why are you offended? You obviously don't understand what I teach. Yes, but this is different. No, it's not different. It's always the same story over and over. External reality tries to instill the fear. You decide whether you stay in your power, in your vision, and prepare for continued success, continued health. Right? There's always something. Either it's, we're on the verge of a financial breakdown, or we're on the verge of a new pandemic, a new strain of virus, a new... For me, it goes to the point that I don't even believe in germ contagion. Wow, so controversial. Oh my goodness, No, I don't believe that germs are contagious. I have always walked around freely, even among the sick. So the idea is that first you have to be in a good state before the universe can deliver, before the mirror of life reflects that. You know, people are a bit too passive in my opinion. They're waiting for something to happen. Well, nothing's going to happen unless you demonstrate it, you show it, you prepare for it, you call for it, you intend it, you request it, you demand it, you command it. Something has to come from you. The so-called universe cannot impose its will on you. You've been created lovingly and divinely as a free will being. Okay, so if you don't call for it, if you don't consent to it, by the laws of the universe, it's not going to happen. And anybody who tries to force you to something is outside of universal law, and they're going to get back what they put out, right? The universe is perfectly just. So a lot of people, they're like, well, yeah, if it's divine will, then I'm going to get better, or, you know, I'll see what the economy does, or I'll see what happens, or what they do. That's all passive. If you don't decide, somebody's going to decide for you. If you don't decide which restaurant to go to at the weekend, your spouse is going to decide, which is fine, no problem with that. But I'm just saying, you've got to call for it, right? Your state is your decision. A good mood is a decision. Your reality is your decision. I taught this 30 years ago. I'm still teaching it. It still holds true. It's still my experience day to day to day. So your actions demonstrate what you really believe. If you want to know whether somebody's for real or not, compare what they say to what they actually do. And often you'll see discrepancy. You know, they say they believe all health is mental, but they don't do it. They don't follow through. They say they believe their business is going to pick up, but they do nothing in the assumption that it will actually pick up. You know, at the moment I'm coaching a coach, and like so many, he wants an increase in customers, but he's not preparing any material for this increase in customers. Why not? Because he doesn't actually believe in an increase in customers. By people's actions, you see what they believe. You know, I got a lot of people coming to me saying, do I really, can I just manifest without actions? I guess so, but it's your actions that demonstrate what you believe. Taking action in the assumption that good things will come is one of the strongest and quickest ways to manifest, to physicalize your desire, to bring your future desire, your future goal into the now through physical action, which is in my books what I call midwifing the energy into the physical, right? It's such a powerful technique. I don't understand why people keep asking me, is action really necessary? I mean, it's such a lazy attitude, really, you know, apathetic. Is action really necessary? Action is wonderful. It's powerful. It's fun. You're a physical being who can do physical action and demonstrate who you are. So manifesting requires your input, your active participation. If you want to get pregnant, why don't you start buying kids stuff? Don't spend too much. I'm not saying be wasteful, but you know, symbolically, you could buy at least one toy if you're actually wanting to expect a child. If you've been in the hospital all year, I know this woman, she was in a hospital for a long time, and she had all this money in her account and couldn't do anything with it because she was sick. So she gave some of it to me to coach her, and I said, okay, why don't you go online and order some nice clothes? You haven't shopped for nice clothes in ages. in the assumption that you're going to get out of the hospital soon. And that's how we started the session. And then one thing led to another, and today she's out of the hospital. But for a while there, it looked like she was just going to stay forever because she wasn't preparing for anything else. She had settled into that situation and allowed it to become habitual. And that's how we all settle for less. We settle for much less than is possible. If you got a lot of money on the bank, don't hoard it and hold on to it. Reinvest it in the assumption that more money will come in. Reinvest, let it flow. Hoarding and saving, you're eventually going to lose it, or it's going to devalue. Let things flow. Let go in the assumption that more will come. As a general rule of the thumb, if you wish to get promoted at work, then act the part. Dress like that person, talk like that person, act like that person. Right? Can you put yourself into that version of you who got promoted, who's at the next higher level? If you wish to attract a level 7 person, you got to become at least level 7 or level 8. You have to match frequencies with whatever you want. So this is acting as if, but a lot of people don't understand the concept of acting as if, so I call it preparing for success. That's a little bit easier to grasp and understand. They don't understand putting their consciousness to a place of their wish already true. Okay, so I say, all right, if you can't wrap your head around that, then at least prepare for your wish coming true. So preparing for success is like a smaller version of acting as if. People ask me, well, is acting as if lying? Am I lying to myself? No, it's not lying. It's taking what is already happening and emphasizing that, right? Before I published a single book, I claimed I'm an author. Was I lying? No, I wasn't, because I was already writing. So I am an author. Right? And even when I didn't sell any books, I was an author because I had books out. And then eventually they sold, and I was truly an author. So it's not lying, it's taking something you prefer and already getting into it today. That's acting as if. If you feel like it's lying, don't do it, because lying is the opposite of reality creation. It's saying something that does not come true, it falls flat, and that actually weakens your reality creation powers. You got to find a good balance between imagination and reality. Don't get lost in fantasy, keep it real, but stretch your imagination, stretch your thinking, but still keep it real. You see what I'm saying? It's neither full fantasy nor full realism, because full realism won't get you anywhere. It'll just keep getting you what you already have. You see this, oh, this is realistic, this is what's going to happen tomorrow, and then you stay in that hospital like that woman. So, but also don't go into full fantasy, because then you're not making it believable for your subconscious or the universe or whatever the forces that creates. If you wish to achieve something extraordinary, you got to take a step of faith. You got to take a few risks. You got to be a little bit more courageous than you were before. You got to allow yourself to go into the new to some extent. I'm not saying get all crazy and radical and totally step into the unknown all the time. I'm just saying stretch it in action, in thinking, in talking. Keep stretching it. Keep expanding your comfort zone. Do you know that success is much more effortless than generally assumed? The universe is abundance. The universe is self-sustaining. Everything that carries a seed is self-sustaining. Fruits carry a seed, they sustain themselves. Trees sustain themselves. Humans carry seed and renew themselves in a cycle over and over. The divine is self-sustaining, effortless. It keeps growing. Growth is effortless. And that's why success is not as difficult as generally assumed. If you think success is difficult, you're not seeing clearly, and you need to adjust something in your perspective. And if you're asking, do I really have to take action? If you're one of those, realize that this question comes from tiredness. So you're doing something that makes you tired and energyless, listless. Otherwise you wouldn't be asking that question. And I hear that a lot, oh, is action really required? If you had energy, you'd want to act. You'd be looking for action, you'd be looking for challenge. People who feel healthy and strong and happy are seeking challenge. They're not trying to avoid it. They're looking for action. They say, bring it on. So most of this tiredness that people feel comes from resistance, from bad nutrition and resistance, emotional resistance. Okay, so you want to release your resistance, embrace life, and be able to take on more, handle more. So let's do an exercise. Write down 10 actions or activities that you did last week. And put this recording on pause as you do so. Okay, welcome back. Now, look at your list of activities and ask yourself, what is this activity preparing for? What is this activity preparing for? And then write down what comes to mind, right? For example, I went to play tennis earlier today. What is that activity preparing me for? It's preparing me for challenges with students ahead, because it actually makes me very fit so I can handle more. Okay, it's also preparing me for aging with dignity. And it's also a lot of fun. So it's preparing me for more fun. That's the primary purpose. I can feel that. Another thing I did earlier today is wash my car. What's that preparing me for? It's preparing me for a visitor. I'm actually getting an important visit later today. And so I finally washed my car after many months of not washing it, letting the rain wash it, right? So, put this recording on pause as you do so. Welcome back. Now, if you were to be preparing for success, what would you be doing instead? Make a list. It might include some stuff from the old list, but if you were to be preparing for the manifestation of all of your goals, what would you be doing instead? And put this recording on pause as you write that down. Welcome back. So with me, I guess washing the car and playing tennis is aligned with further success, because I'm pretty much into reality creation. I don't really have any activities anymore that do not prepare me for a better life, for even more success. So that's good. But I do recall a time where many of my actions were not preparing me for success. Some were just completely random, such as binge watching certain shows. And the motivation behind that was actually just being tired and preparing myself for sleep. You know? Or doing a normal 9 to 5 job, which is trying to secure me from poverty, preparing for poverty. So the one question is, if you were preparing for success, what would you be doing? And the other is, of course, if you were preparing for success, what are some things you would be saying? What are things you would be feeling? Did you know that you don't only choose your actions, you also choose your words and your feelings, as well as the direction of your attention? So I could do this whole thing just with attention, right? What has my attention been on last week? What have I been thinking and feeling and looking at? And what is that preparing me for? What is that aligned with? And then finally, the third question, what would my attention be on if I were preparing for success? And I'm not saying that doing this exercise once is going to fix everything. It's just one conscious observation today, which will improve your conduct and take it more in the direction of success. But over the months and the years, you keep developing and improving that by checking once in a while whether your thoughts, words, and actions are aligned with the expectation of high success. Do not settle for less. My name is Fred Dodson. Have a nice day.